Jack Whittaker won the biggest lottery jackpot in history at the time, $314 million in the 2002 Powerball drawing on Christmas Day. The West Virginia construction company owner was already worth about $17 million before his win, so you'd think he'd know how to handle money. Within just a few years, Whittaker's life spiraled into chaos with multiple thefts, family tragedies, and legal troubles that left him broke by 2007. He later said, "I wish I'd torn that ticket up and called winning the lottery the worst thing that ever happened to me." William Bud Post won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery in 1988, but just 1 year later he was $1 million in debt. His spending spree included houses, boats, and even a plane he wasn't licensed to fly. Things got so bad that his own brother hired a hitman to kill him for the money. Post filed for bankruptcy, served jail time for firing a gun at a bill collector, and was tricked by his landlady into giving away a third of his winnings. Evelyn Adams made lottery history by winning 2 separate multi-million-dollar jackpots in New Jersey, $5.4 million total between 1985 and 1986. You'd think winning twice would be enough to set anyone up for life, but Adams had other plans. She gambled much of the money away at Atlantic City casinos, gave too many expensive gifts to family members, and made terrible investment decisions. Today, she works in a trailer and lives paycheck to paycheck, just like before her incredible luck ran out. Curtis Sharp won $5 million in New York's lottery back in 1982, and his story became the perfect example of going from rags to riches and right back to rags again. Sharp's downfall came from multiple sources that drained his fortune faster than he could count it. Multiple failed marriages gobbled up much of his newfound wealth, while frequent visits to the casino and reckless spending habits finished off what the divorce lawyers didn't take. By 2016, Sharp had found God but lost all his earthly riches. Willie Hurt won $3.1 million in the Michigan Super Lotto in 1989, right during the height of the crack epidemic. Unfortunately, Hurt was already struggling with addiction when the money arrived, and the massive windfall only made things worse. His lottery winnings became fuel for a raging cocaine addiction, and by 1991, just 2 years after winning, he was completely broke and going through a divorce. The tragedy didn't end there, as Hurt later murdered someone during a drug-fueled rage and gave police a signed confession he claimed to have no memory of making. Suzanne Mullins won $4.2 million in the Virginia lottery in 1993 and tried to do the responsible thing by splitting the jackpot between family members, leaving herself with annual payments of $47,826 over 20 years. But life had other plans when her son racked up over $1 million in medical bills. Mullins took out a $200,000 loan using her future lottery payments as collateral, but when she couldn't make the payments, the lending company took her to court. The legal battle cost her an additional $154,000 she didn't have, leaving her with nothing. Callie Rogers won the UK lottery at just 16 years old, taking home £1.9 million that should have set her up for life. Instead, the teenage millionaire went on an epic spending spree that would make even the most reckless adults cringe. Rogers blew her entire fortune on wild parties, illegal substances, and multiple plastic surgeries. Today, at 26 years old, she's worth about £2,000, less than many people have in their checking accounts. Lisa Arkin seemed to have the right idea when she won $1 million. She bought a house, purchased a car, and then opened her own business. On paper, these looked like smart, responsible moves that should have grown her wealth instead of destroying it. Unfortunately, the business world can be just as unpredictable as lottery numbers. Her new business struggled from the start and eventually failed completely, leaving her behind on bills and forcing her to close down. Janite Lee, a South Korean immigrant who worked in a wig shop, won $18 million in the Illinois lottery in 1993, receiving $620,000 per year for 20 years. Lee had a generous heart and wanted to give back to her community, which sounds admirable until you see how far she took it. Lee became a philanthropic pillar of her St. Louis community, donating massive amounts to the Democratic Party and rubbing shoulders with politicians like Bill Clinton and Al Gore. Her kindness knew no bounds, but unfortunately, her bank account did have limits, and all that generosity eventually left her broke. Marva Wilson, a great-grandmother, won $2 million in the Missouri lottery in 2008 and quickly learned that lottery winners are prime targets for con artists. A scammer named Freya Pearson appeared in Wilson's life like a guardian angel, offering to help with everything from filing liens to handling taxes and setting up a non-profit foundation. Under the guise of helping Wilson manage her money, Pearson smooth-talked her way into the winners' bank accounts and stole every penny. Pearson was eventually sentenced to 5 years in prison, but Wilson never got her money back. Jeffrey Dampier won $20 million in a 1996 Illinois lottery and tried to share his good fortune with friends and family members. Like many lottery winners, Dampier found himself overwhelmed by people asking for handouts and tried to be fair by giving money to anyone who asked. He gave millions to friends and family, including his secret lover, but when he eventually cut off his paramour, she became upset and convinced her boyfriend to murder Dampier. His generosity literally cost him his life, proving that no good deed goes unpunished when you're dealing with lotterized money. Abraham Shakespeare won $30 million in the Florida lottery in 2009, but he didn't get much time to enjoy his newfound wealth. Shakespeare, 47, was shot twice in the chest with a .38 caliber pistol sometime in April 2009, though he wasn't reported missing until November and his body wasn't found until January 2010, buried under a concrete slab in someone's backyard. Tampa woman Dee Dee Moore befriended Shakespeare, agreed to manage his remaining money after he'd given most of it away, but instead stole his winnings and killed him. Moore was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Michael Carroll won $15 million in a British jackpot in 2002 when he was just 26 years old. Carroll's story became a cautionary tale about what happens when someone with no financial experience suddenly gets access to more money than they can comprehend. His spending habits were so outrageous and reckless that he became known as the Lotto Lout in British tabloids. Carroll managed to blow through his entire fortune in just a few years through a combination of expensive cars, lavish parties, failed business ventures, and general financial irresponsibility that left him working as a garbage collector. Alex and Rhoda Toth won $13 million in 1990, receiving $666,666 in yearly payments, and spent the next 15 years living like celebrities with luxury travel, high-end hotel stays, and constant socializing with rich and famous people. The irony is that before their win, the couple had been living on their last $24.76. Within a few years, they were dealing with court cases involving alleged threats from their teenage son and his girlfriend, who they accused of killing their dog and setting Alex's Corvette on fire. The couple filed for bankruptcy protection twice and eventually faced 24 years in prison and $554,667 in back taxes owed to the IRS. Uruj Khan, a 46-year-old immigrant from India who owned 3 dry cleaning businesses in Chicago, won $1 million in a scratch-off Illinois lottery game in 2012. Khan had modest plans for his winnings. He wanted to pay off bills and his mortgage, and make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Center. Those plans never materialized because Khan died just one day after the state cut him a check for $424,449, throwing up blood the same day he received his winnings. 6 months later, authorities determined he'd been killed by cyanide poisoning, though no one was ever charged with his murder. The stories of these 15 lottery winners reveal a disturbing pattern that goes far beyond simple bad luck or poor financial planning. Studies consistently show that lottery winners are significantly more likely to declare bankruptcy within 3 to 5 years compared to the average American, with some estimates suggesting up to 70% of winners end up broke. What makes these cases particularly tragic is that many of these people were already struggling financially before their wins, and the sudden influx of money often amplified their existing problems rather than solving them. As one financial expert noted, if you're not disciplined, you will go broke, and unfortunately, discipline isn't something that automatically comes with a winning lottery ticket.